1400 years ago, a beautiful book was sent down to a beautiful man, and that book claimed that it explained literally everything in the world. Allah says, مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ فِي شَيْءٍ. We have not neglected in the book a single thing. This should tell you that the Quran contains a solution to any single problem that you have in your life. And in this video, we're going to be discussing exactly that. But now here's the issue. This book has been memorized by millions of Muslims around the world, but this book is not just for you to come and then recite the words within it. Otherwise, the effect is not going to enter your heart. What this book is supposed to be doing is that it is a self-guiding thing. What it means is that the more you connect with this book, it's alive. The more that you connect with it, it will reveal its secrets to you. So most people, they've memorized it, but not a lot of people have actually sat down and allowed the book to reveal its secrets to you. And the most beautiful thing I noticed is that this book, yes, it was made 1400 years ago, but now it's literally saying, it's confirming what neuroscience and psychology is saying. And even quantum physics, what they say is that your outer reality is dictated by your inner reality, and especially quantum physics, by the way, which means that if you're trying to change the outer reality, you must change the observer, which is you. You must change your thoughts, your beliefs, your paradigms, your emotions. And what's so beautiful is that way long time ago, the Quran described exactly that. So understand that your inner state is not just something like some nice feelings and all that stuff, and that's all it is. Your inner state is the single variable that determines everything from your health, your reality, your relationships, what you attract, what you repel, how much money you make. This is all dictated by your inner reality. And in the Quran, this is what Allah calls an-nafs. So we're going to be getting very deep on the nafs, because the Quran, it gives you 3 levels of nafs and how to deal with it, and maybe you can check which one you're in right now. Now Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created jinn and mankind, people, except to do this thing called يَعْبُدُونَ. Now most people think يَعْبُدُونَ means to worship, which means to sit on a prayer mat and keep connecting with Allah, keep praying, or reading the Quran, doing the zakat. That's all it is. That's what ibadah is. But let me tell you something, like, can you do this 24 hours, 7 days a week, consistently, non-stop? You can't stay on a prayer mat the entire time. So this shows you that ibadah is not just the rituals, it's way deeper than that. And I'm going to be telling you in this video that ibadah is you being in alignment with Allah. So it's not just doing things, it's you being in alignment to Allah. Think about it. I'll give you a very silly example, but it should make you understand. If I had a slave right now, that slave is going to be doing everything that I tell them, which means that that slave is moving through my will. That slave is in alignment with my will. Same thing here. Most of us are in alignment with porn, scrolling, addiction. That's what we're slave towards. But Allah is telling you, you must become in alignment, a servant to the divine. Someone that is moving through the will of the divine. And that's your true purpose on earth. So you are not here just to exist in a body. You are a conduit. You're a transmitter. You're a channeler of the will of the divine. So now, this should tell you how your inner state is supposed to be 24/7. A channel, someone that's channeling the will of the divine. Allah says in a different ayah, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Allah is telling you that this nafs that you have, and the nafs, by the way, is your beliefs, it's your paradigms, it's your thoughts, it's your emotions, it's your inner world. That's what the nafs is. And Allah is telling you, if you purify this nafs, you will succeed in this dunya world. And if you destroy, if you bury, if you don't take care of this nafs, you will get destroyed in this world. This means that if you're moving through thoughts that are always negative, emotions that are always negative, you're going to be seeing more negativity in your life. And the opposite is true. This means that the nafs is what you're supposed to be fixing. So when you become a channeler to the divine will, in alignment with the divine will, that's you doing your purpose, and that's you, by the way, cleaning your nafs. Now I told you there's 3 levels of nafs. The first level is an-nafs al-Ammarah bis-su'. Ammara means it's this nafs that gives you commands to do what specifically? Su'. Su' means bad things, doing things that are bad. So whenever you feel the urge to want to go and watch porn, to want to go basically listen to your addictions, to backbite people, to hurt people. That's you, your nafs, telling you, commanding you to doing bad things. And the issue is that most people are actually stuck within this level of consciousness, or in other words, this level of nafs. Most people never transcend this level. And this right here is level 1, nafs. So anytime your nafs is commanding you to do bad things, you're still stuck at level 1. And this is why, by the way, in Ramadan, people are like, devils are chained up. How am I still getting thoughts to do bad things? And you're getting those thoughts because it's not shaitan is giving you these thoughts. It's your nafs. And your nafs is doing that because it's not cleansed yet. The second level of nafs is when Allah says, al-Nafs al-Lawwamah, al-Nafs al-Lawwamah. And if you read this whole surah, Surah al-Qiyamah, you would tell that Nafs al-Lawwamah is when you finally gain just a bit of consciousness to realize that what you're doing is bad. So you know when you're watching porn, for example, before you're watching porn, you're moving through a Nafs al-Ammarah. It's commanding you to go and do something bad. As soon as you do it and you're done with it, now the guilt starts settling in. Now you start feeling like, I've done something bad, I shouldn't have done that. And that is level 2 nafs. This is what you reach when you listen to nafs al-Ammarah. And the last level, level 3, is al-Nafs al-Mutma'innah, and Allah says, Irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya. This is the nafs that's at tranquility, it's at peace. Now you feel like you're always in a state of connection to the divine. So this is what happens when you fulfill your purpose, which is ibadah, being in alignment with Allah. And this is what happens when you clean your nafs, when you go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. And in this state of consciousness, state of nafs, that's when Allah says you will start seeing success in this world and the next. And once again, this right here is the mirror principle where Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Which shows you that you won't change your outer reality till you change your nafs. Which means if you're always stuck at nafs al-Ammarah, that's the kind of reality you'll be seeing. If you keep doing negativity, your nafs commands you to do something negative, and you keep going and you keep doing it, you'll be seeing more negativity happening in your outside life. But the more that you discipline this, and you purify it and you clean it, and you reach nafs al-Mutma'innah, what are you going to be seeing on the outside? You'll be seeing more peace, you'll be seeing more contentness, you'll be seeing more love happening outside of you. That's when you start seeing beautiful coincidences. That's when you start literally becoming more and more lucky. That's when you start, anything that you see, you know that it's here to serve you, and it will serve you. And Allah says, وَمَنْ يُرِدْ أَنْ يُضِلَّهُ يَجْعَلْ صَدْرَهُ ضَيِّقًا حَرَجًا كَأَنَّمَا يَصَّعَّدُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Which means that, yes, your outer reality is going to be bad, but even your body itself will be feeling constricted. This is why I say, epigenetics actually says that when you clean your inner environment, your genes change to the point that even if you had disease, your disease will heal itself. Which means that the state of what your nafs is at right now is extremely, extremely important, to the point that it can either give you disease or it can heal your body, because your body is also a reflection of what state your nafs is in. Allah says in a different ayah, Allah says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Which means, Allah's basically saying in Arabic that when you restrain the nafs, then you will enter Jannah. Which means that if you don't restrain the nafs, if you don't discipline the nafs, you'll remain stuck at nafs al-Ammarah. But when you restrain the nafs, when you start disciplining, which means that anytime there's an inkling to do something and you say no, that's you slowly transcending from level 1 to level 2 and level 3. So I'm going to be giving you some practices to do, 5 of them at least, that will help you clean your nafs and restrain your nafs so you can transcend from 1 to 2 and 3. And you already know what this means, that if you transcend to level 3, your life will become way more beautiful. The first thing I'm saying is tanaffus, conscious breathing. Like, what are the chances that the nafs is a root word of the word tanaffus? Tanaffus means breathing. And in the Quran, Allah says in Surah At-Takwir, ayah number 18, and the morning when it breathes, when it becomes alive, when it does tanaffus. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسْ. What does that mean? That means Allah is basically swearing in the morning and saying that the morning is breathing. There is a connection, by the way, between when you sit in the morning, early morning, and you start breathing consciously. That's why Allah is linking breathing with the morning. And tanaffus, in of itself, the root word, is connected to your nafs. It's connected to your consciousness. Which means, if you start breathing consciously in the morning, slowly, you'll start to get more of a discipline towards your nafs. You'll heal your nafs. This is also why, even scientifically, the more that you consciously breathe, for example, like box breathing, you start to relax yourself. Your emotions will become relaxed. Your thoughts will become relaxed. If your breathing is shallow, your thoughts are going to become shallow and tight. The more that you start breathing deeply and consciously, the more that your mind is going to start expanding. Your emotions will start expanding. So there's a correlation, not only scientifically, between your breathing, how deep is your breathing, and your personality, your thoughts, if they're negative or positive, your emotions. And even Quranically, there is a link, which means if you breathe deeply and consciously, and I'll give you an exercise, which is the box breathing, you'll expand your nafs. So this exercise that I'm giving you is, you breathe from your nose, by the way, and you inhale for 5 seconds, and you exhale for 5 seconds. You keep doing this consciously, you'll relax. You'll relax. It's a very, very beautiful practice. The second thing to do is to restrain. And restraining in the Quran is siyam itself. When Allah is saying, وَنَهَا النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى, when you restrain the nafs from the hawa, to restrain in the Quran is to fast. So when you do fasting, like siyam, when you restrain yourself from food and water and any of the inclinations that your nafs usually wants to go through, like watching TV, like entertainment, like scrolling on the phone, any of these things, the more that you restrain yourself from these things, the more that you start cleaning your nafs slowly. And I'm telling you right here that if you just restrain yourself for 40 days at least, you will have a complete transformation. Why 40 days specifically? And it's because 40 days is connected to Prophet Musa alayhi salam. And we know that scientifically, neuroscience says 21 days to 66 days is enough time to rewire your mind. So if you just restrain yourself from anything, I'm not telling you to fast days. I'm telling you, just restrain yourself from anything that your nafs wants the most. So for example, if you're someone that sits constantly and you scroll all the time, if you restrain yourself from doing that for 40 days at least, you'll see a major, big difference in your life. This is basically you fasting from scrolling. And I'm saying scrolling because that's the thing that most people are struggling with. But it could be, for example, it's like porn, or it could be smoking, or it could be backbiting. Anything that your nafs always wants to do and is commanding you to do it, and you know that it's bad, restrain yourself from it for 40 days and you will see a big difference, inshallah. Third one, which is honestly, this one is my favorite, which is deep pondering of the Quran, tadabbur. Now the word tadabbur, Allah Himself says, do they not do tadabbur of the Quran, or is there locks upon their hearts? Do they not contemplate on the Quran, or is there a lock on their hearts? Tadabbur, by the way, comes from the word dubur. And in the Quran, dubur means behind. So which means that when you're doing tadabbur, you're looking at the words and you're trying to see what's behind the words. You're trying to see the beautiful meanings that are behind the words of the Quran. Which means that if you're just looking at it surface level, that's not pondering. But if you go deep into it, that is pondering. And by the way, pondering is not just restricted to the Quran. Pondering is also, like, you can also go deep within you and you ponder, why am I feeling such a way? Why is this feeling coming up? Every time someone says a certain thing, my shoulders start tightening. Every time I'm about to pay a bill, I start tightening. Why does that happen to my body? And you can even ponder on the creation of Allah. Pondering the creation is such a beautiful thing because Allah Himself tells you, like, do they not think on the creation? Look at how the sky, how we made it. Why is it that you can't see any holes in it? Even more is when you're looking at the creation and you understand that the creation are mirrors and signs of your inner world. So that when you look at the sun, what does the sun symbolize within you? When you look at the earth, what does the earth symbolize within you? So you doing that is literally you doing Tazkiyah to your nafs. When you do this is why Allah is linking it to locked hearts. When you ponder, you unlock your heart. And the fourth one is muhasabah. So muhasabah, Allah says, let every nafs look at what it has sent forward for tomorrow. Which means when you sit down, right before you go to sleep, and you're looking at what have you done today, and what are you going to be bringing forth tomorrow, just that alone, when you're having a deep examination on your inner self, that is very, very powerful. You can even say this, like you could call this literally even meditation. When you sit down and you look at what's happening within you and what are you even going to be doing tomorrow? What have you done today and what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Or not even tomorrow, what are you going to be bringing forth in the future? The looking, the looking, when you look with your inner eyes, that in of itself, when you start looking at your nafs, is extremely, extremely powerful, and it cleans you. And the last one, which is a community, jama'ah, surrounding yourself with the seekers. Allah says, keep yourself patiently with those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, and do not let your eyes pass beyond them. Allah's telling you that it's very, very important for you to have an environment where you're constantly being reminded of the divine. So even when you're scrolling, for example, if there are things that are putting you in a state of forgetfulness, you can change it, because nowadays, most of us are not even hanging out in groups. Nowadays, most of us are sitting in our homes, which means that your phone is your best friend. It's your biggest friend. So at least if you program your phone to be something or someone that always brings you back to the divine, that's very, very powerful. Even better is when you're actually sitting in a group of people that are always connecting you back to Allah. So if your friend group is bringing you away from the divine, I'm going to say that's problematic, even though I don't want you to feel like, oh, you can't be with certain people. But I'm saying this is problematic for you, because now this is slowly like putting dust. It's putting dust on your nafs. And because it's destroying your nafs, you won't be able to have a beautiful reflection outside, a beautiful mirror outside, a beautiful outer reality. And what I mean by that is not just people that tell you, go pray, do this, do this. I'm telling you, people that make you feel like you're constricted. If you have friends that, for example, just an example, they always tell you money is hard to come by, that makes you restricted. And that actually goes against the Quran, because Allah Himself says, I give rizq easily. So if someone is programming you against the Quran, that's constricting you, and that's destroying your nafs, because it's giving you false paradigms. So when you hang out with people that are aligned with the Quran, and by the way, go through all my videos so you can understand what it means to be aligned with the Quran. Rizq is easy. Mercy is all around you. Love is your birthright. The more that you're aligned with these beliefs, the more that your nafs is going to be cleansed. And the easiest way to be aligned with these beliefs is if you have people that are also aligned with such beliefs. So you believe me now when I say things like مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ فِي شَيْءٍ. Not even me saying it, Allah Himself is telling you this. We have not left out a single thing within this book. It's so beautiful. The more I'm studying the Quran and I'm connecting it to the outside world, and I'm studying science and realizing there's such a beautiful big connection, I'm like, this book is so divine. Epigenetics itself says that when you change what's within you, you change your body itself. And here we have like all these practices to do. Like the Quran is literally addressing your nafs. It's literally telling you how to heal your nafs. That's why Allah says Al-Quran is shifa. Shifa lima fi sudur. Shifa for what's within you yourself. Which means that the more that you connect with it, and the more that you start cleaning yourself, the more that not only the outside world will become beautiful, but even diseases that you've had in your body will become healed. And that's why I say, like, study. That's why Allah Himself says, iqra, read. Like, keep seeking knowledge. And the more I'm seeking knowledge, the more I'm like, bro, the Quran has been saying all of this way long time ago. So if you just keep connecting yourself to this beautiful divine book, you will see more beauty happening in your life. And this is today's video. So if this whole video was helpful, and I'm hoping that it was helpful for you, Habibi, and if it was, let me know.